Welcome to Childcare Rockstar Radio. I am your host, Kris Murray. Childcare leaders around the globe are breaking through challenges, leading the way in innovation, testing new best practices, and impacting children and families in a much more powerful and positive way than ever before. Each week, join me for interviews with early childhood leaders and experts that will leave you inspired to become the next childcare rockstar. Now, let's go. This is Childcare Rockstar Radio, episode 172, featuring me, Kris Murray. Hey folks, I am back and doing a solo episode. It's been a while since I've done an episode, and I'm really excited to share with you my solo adventure in Hawaii. I am here on the Big Island recording this for you right now in this really cool, funky little Airbnb just about a quarter mile from the beach and walking distance for sure. I just walk basically across the street and go to a place outside of Kona called Magic Sands Beach. If you've been to Kona, you may have been there. Really good bar and grill, which is my favorite sunset spot. I'll give a shout out to Magic Bar and Grill right next door to Magic Sands Beach. And this place I'm staying in is called the Magic Shack. Find it on Airbnb. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's super cute, great spot, and affordable. So just wanted to give a shout out to my environment here. I got all set up to record this podcast with the beach and the beautiful water view in the background, which is where I sit every night on that lanai and look out at the Pacific Ocean. Incredible sunsets here in Kona. The sunrises, but they both kind of get both. They get the glow from both experiences, sunrise and sunset. And I was out there setting up, but there was a lot of bird noises and human noises out there. So I brought the podcast inside, and here we are. For the next about 35 or 40 minutes, I'm going to share with you how I got here and how I set up my life and my business so that I could spend a month solo in Hawaii and why I'm here solo for a month. And I'm going to share more about my vision and where I'm going and where I've been, just logistically in terms of the geographic journey and what I've experienced. And I'm going to share with you, perhaps more importantly, the strategy and the really important strategic implementation steps that allowed me to live my best life and to be here for a month and essentially not working other than recording this podcast for you. So let me dive in and just get right to it. So why don't you get settled in and take a moment? And if you're driving, just kind of try to put your presence to what the words are that I'm speaking. And if you're with me on YouTube or watching this online or listening to it in a place where you can kind of close your eyes and just take a minute, I'd like just a way to get grounded with you and bring you right here to me in your energy. And so let's just be present with each other. Let's take a moment to settle in. I want what I have to share with you to land. So close your eyes and just take a deep breath and really feel it coming in top for a minute and then let it go. And just bring your awareness to this moment. Don't worry about what might be in the room or your past or your future, and just be present with me for this half-hour plus journey that we have in front of us. If you allow yourself to really be present with and throughout your day, if you take a moment and just do that, what we just did, and even just as one breath, you will live your life, your day, you will live your hour, your day, your week, your year, and your life much more fully. and realize that there really is nothing to do other than just be. So, for why I'm here and how I came to be here. Obviously, I have gone through a personal shift. You guys have heard me talk about it on the podcast and refer to changes that have been happening over the last really 2 years since I've been on this journey, starting with Kara Sherman and now with Amir Zogi, who I've had both of them on the podcast. If you had not, I have a chance to listen to those 2 episodes. You'll get of my journey. I am becoming every day a better and higher and deeper version of myself. And being here for a month in Hawaii for me. When I first came to Hawaii, I was 26 years old. I had just moved to Crested Butte, Colorado from a important corporate job in advertising in a Big 10 advertising firm, the biggest in Chicago. I quit that job when I was 25 and threw all my stuff in a U-Haul. And my dad helped me drive across the country with the U-Haul. And I moved to tiny Crested Butte, Colorado, stuff in the middle of a summer rainstorm into this tiny little bedroom, which I was sharing with my new roommate. And the change from downtown Chicago, where I had been living, to a remote little house at the top of a mountain in Crested Butte, Colorado, walking distance to the slopes, was just about to imagine. I mean, maybe moving from Hawaii to Alaska or something of that nature would be a similar type of change. But it was massive because I was going from the 3rd largest city in the United States to one of the most remote spots in the United States. I think my dad was kind of taken aback. And I left a $35,000 a year job with benefits to a $6 an hour job with no benefits. It had that oh crap moment on my bed. I remember I was 25 years old. Like, what have I done? But I knew in my gut that it was the right thing to do. And at the end of that ski season of 1993, I came to Hawaii for the first time. And I spent 3 weeks with the boy I was seeing at the time on Maui. And we stayed in the jungle because his buddy had a shack in the jungle and it was full of creatures. I'm not going to go there, but it was something. I'll just say rodents were abundant as well as wild pigs. So it was really quite something. But those 3 weeks really touched my life. We drove all over the island. We had the best time. We went to Hana. We went everywhere on Maui. Camped on the beach. And it took me a while to get back here. I wanted to explore the rest of Hawaii. And every time I come here, so now this is my 5th time to Hawaii. Every time that I have visited, I really impactful, special experiences. And I feel energetically tied to these islands. So I've had some here this trip so far. One of which is yesterday I invested in a boutique hotel that's being created and will be launched on the Hamakua coast, about 10 miles north of Hilo. And so I'll be back because I now own a piece of the island, which is really special. So that happened yesterday. I wanted to come here for a month and quote unquote island hop because as I've created this new life for myself and this new, better, higher version of me, I have intentionally created more space. I'm going to talk about how I did that as an entrepreneur and how I basically have exited my company, which allows me to be here and wherever I want to go, really, for the foreseeable future in terms of travel and new experiences. And space has been a huge shift. The biggest thing I've been working on, potentially with the help of Amir and Kira as intuitive coaches, is making space. So I can start feeling the intuitional feeling of having things drop in, so that I'm in this flow, and if I'm in a flow state, essentially. So the more you make space in your, about this on the podcast with Amir, most notably. And then with Kira, we talked on the podcast about how to heal old wounds or how to sit with the discomfort so that you can go through processing, be processed that are there to be processed, so that when you heal them and let go of them, it makes amazing layers of space. So it's all connected. And so space strategically in my business and my life so that I could come here and feel what is there to be felt, what is here to be felt. And then have new adventures, and like now being an investor in a very, very cool boutique hotel. So, and whether it's, I talked also on a recent Facebook Live about a year and a half ago that I went to an Eckhart Tolle retreat and I surfed for the first time. So what I want for you to take away from this podcast is I want you to use me as a mentor, as a guidepost, if you will, as an example of how one can make space in their life, space in your life by what I'm going to share with you, and start putting into practice these strategies so that you can just feel everything that is there to take your life to the next level, whatever that means for you. It's kind of cliche language. I don't necessarily love taking it to the next level because it implies that you're going to be doing. And what I'm talking about is less doing and more being. So back to where we started, we started with the one breath and just feeling the breath coming in and being at the top, go out. And the more that you do that, the more that you'll feel new layers of the flow. You'll be able to start feeling the feeling, what is there to be felt. And if you continue to do the work and ponder and spend time on a sunrise or a sunset and be present throughout more of your day and carve out space to be present throughout more of your day, you will become the feeling. And then you'll be making decisions from a place of complete intuition and flow. My brain now, when I'm making decisions to make a left or make a right on these adventures in the car, when I'm exploring the islands, I'm in a full mode. I can see a sign or a signpost and make a right. I can pass it, turn around, do a U-turn, and go. And I've done that. I've probably done that 5 or 6 times now over the last 2 weeks of being on 2 islands. And I'm exploring and discovering so much more. My experience is so much richer, and yours will be too, when you allow yourself to say yes to those intuitional pulls and just be the feeling, embrace it, follow. And if you do what I'm telling you or sharing with you, you will start and practice it. You will start knowing exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't have any space in your life and you've never been spiritual or intuitional of this nature, it'll all be new to you. And that's perfectly cool too. I'm just asking, I guess, if you're new on the journey, be open. And if you're along on your journey, then hopefully this can help you too. Excited to be on this journey with you, no matter where you are. So the reason why I wanted to come back to Hawaii, as I shared, was that it really touched my heart when I was 20 in 1993 here with my young boyfriend at the time. And having come back with kids several times and then coming back solo retreat in Maui. And then intentionally, my question to myself once I exited my business, and I'm going to talk about that and strategically how I did that. So there's going to be some business content here coming up. Is what do I want to do? What would I love? And what came in for me is I would love to have an unencumbered month of solo adventure in Hawaii. Pure and simple. And then I said, okay, what would I love? A little bit more specifically, I would love to, first and foremost, go to Kauai, one main island that I had not been to up until this trip. And then come back to the Big Island, which I have not been here since I was here with my kids and my ex-husband in 2013. So it's been 11 years since I've. And then go spend some time on the North Shore of Oahu, which I've never been. I've only been to Waikiki. We took the Empire clients on this incredible mastermind retreat, Empire via March of 2022. And I haven't been back to Oahu since. And I've never been to the North Shore, which is where a lot of the big surfing and big waves and competitions and stuff take place on the North Shore of Oahu. Not that I waves, y'all, but I want to experience that cool vibe of the North Shore of Oahu. So that's where I'm headed next. So I'm sitting here right now on the Big Island in my cool little Magic Shack cottage, just south of Kona area. And 10 days on each island. So that just kind of came in intuitionally. It's like, okay, a month in Hawaii, 10 days on each of these 3 islands. I don't need to go back to Maui this trip. I was just there. Cool. Let's make it happen. Because I wanted enough time at each spot. And I got 2-bedroom Airbnbs just in case somebody decided they wanted to come visit. And so I had space, right? So at each place, I found really cool waterfront or beachfront Airbnbs. Oahu, on my next stop, I'm going to be right on the beach. Like it's in my backyard. Stoked for that one. But each place has its different, unique vibe. And my time in Kauai was incredible. I really fell in love with that island. So I stayed up in Princeville. And that is on the north side of the island. We get a little bit more rain, but we had amazing weather for February. It's in wintertime, a little bit chillier and a little bit more cloudy in general. And it's been just beautiful. We had 1 day of rain up there, and I was on the Mackay golf course. The very first thing that I did was do a sunset tour on golf carts with the golf course personnel, and then just sign up for a cart because I love to drive golf carts around. So may or may not have had a cocktail in there with me, and just so much fun because we learned about the flora and the fauna. And then we went to the coastline, which is the golf course is adjacent to the coastline of Princeville, and we saw sunset and whales. So that's the other reason why I wanted to come to Hawaii in February and March, is because I have never seen whales. And now I have seen many, many, many whales. I have seen them up close underneath our boat. I did a snorkeling adventure to Captain Cook here on the Big Island, and we had 2 bottlenose dolphins playing side by side and flipping up in the air, and then a baby whale and a mama. And so 3 whales and 2 dolphins were right next to the boat. And I went on a whale watching boat, saw tons of whales, and I've seen them from shore almost every day. I saw a double breach from shore 2 days ago. they come fully out of the water. So I've seen lots of whale smacking and flapping because they're here to mate. And so they're showing off for each other. They're playing. The males are playing, they're trying to attract the females and vice versa. It's fantastic. So I got my whale fix and I finally got to see whales, y'all. So that's a big deal. And that's why I'm here at this time of year. That was also a part of the strategic reason why I wanted to come here. So that's a little bit. I loved Hanalei Bay, which is right next to Princeville. So I was about a 5-minute drive from Hanalei Bay on the north side of Kauai. And that starts the famous Nepali coastline where the incredible greenery and the skinny cliffs that basically are very well known from the movie Jurassic Park and also the show Lost, etc. Were filmed there, and there's waterfall. And of course, I had to take a helicopter trip over Kauai and see all the waterfalls and experience that incredible coast. And the entire island is so beautiful. And we went really deep in the helicopter, and it was a doors off helicopter, and I was right on the edge. And so, one thing that's come in for me is when I was staying in Kauai, I woke up one morning and I just laid there, and what came in was, I don't anything that anybody else wants to freaking do on this trip. It's just like so freeing. If you've never traveled alone, it can be scary. It can be like, oh, am I going to go and, eat alone every night? I go out about half the nights and dinner here in the cottage or in the house about half the nights. And when I go out, I just sit at the bar and chat with people. It's a great way to meet people. So I've been doing that, and I haven't been bothered at all about being on a solo. So for especially those of you that are nervous about it or might think it might be strange, it's actually a great way to meet people and just have a cool experience because you don't have to do what anyone else wants to do. You get to do what you want to do. And you don't have to worry about agenda or kids or husband or getting in a fight with your spouse or being annoyed. And it's very freeing to have that level of space. And so that's also part of the space journey for me. So yeah, my trip, I've been having a blast here on the Big Island as well. I probably prefer the vibe in Kauai because I like a smaller, less commercial, less trafficked vibe. And that was Kauai. I went to a local concert at a community center outside in Kauai, and there was 3 different female acts, female vocalists, singer-songwriters. It was insanely cool just to see all the families, the local families. I like to just do stuff like locals do and try to avoid more of the experiences. So that's what I've been into. Highly recommend that kind of a trip. It's different than going to a resort. And I'm digging it. I'm digging the differences. So that's a little bit more trip. I'm really excited here in a few days to go to my next and final stop, which is North Shore of Oahu. And then I will fly home in about a week and a half back into Denver. So where it is snowing at my house. In terms of how I got here in business, let me just think, is there anything else I want to share about Hawaii? I think the other thing is just being present to the day. I do have a rough plan of what I want to do, and things that are on my list, but if I'm not feeling it and I feel like I just need a day to go lay on the beach because I've been overdoing all of the sightseeing or whatnot, then I just take that. And I think that's a great mind, is that just go with your vibe, check in with yourself consistently. And make the shift when you need to make it, and just, try to stay present and be in the flow, and you will have the most amazing vacation and the most bliss. Imagine. In terms of how I got here, I intentionally started crafting the ability to exit from my business in 2019. Going back to that time, I was in a mastermind group with Joe Polish called Genius Network. And the power of the mastermind remains. If you're not in a mastermind group, you need to get to be in one. You need to do it. If you're a childcare business owner listening to this podcast, or any kind of a business owner, you need to find a group of peers and people that are walking your walk, that are successful. You're in a room with people who are at a higher level than you, that you can be coached up and model their success for you, for whatever that looks like for you, but take what they're doing and model it for you, so you can then also reach that level faster and more pain-free than you would have otherwise. That's the fastest thing I can tell you about why it's great to be in a mastermind in terms of the pure power. I happen to have created and founded the company with the largest mastermind group for the longest period of time in our industry, period, the end. And that's the Child Care Success Academy. So on this podcast, if you're not an academy, you've been listening now to recent episodes with members such as the LaBresches out of Alabama, John and Tracy, such as Kim Harris, Kashani Wilderbahan, amazing. Don't miss Kashani's episode, which is the episode coming up next after me. And so many more. We've got 172 episodes, and the vast majority are Child Care Success Academy. Because I want to share with you the successes, so that you are inspired to take your business to the next level. And of course, openly, I would love for you to join us. I want you to have that level of success too. Full stop. And so when I was in Genius Network in 2018, 2019 with Joe Polish and friends, I heard about a strategy called an ESOP, Employee Stock Ownership Plan. Ever share the ins and outs fully of why I did the ESOP. It might be referred to it a few times. When I heard that Joe did an ESOP for his company, and then I heard that Tony Robbins transformed his company into an ESOP company, so that these high-level coaches, Tony Robbins is probably the most successful personal development coach in the world, arguably. When I heard that he did an ESOP for his company, and he sold his company to his employees. And that's one way of exiting from your business versus selling on the open market and having it be purchased by a private equity company or a strategic buyer. I had an aha moment. And the only way I would have known about that, guy, about the ESOP strategy, is being in that group in Genius Network. It wasn't on my radar. It wasn't even anything that I knew that I didn't know. It was, I don't know what I don't know. So when you are in a group and you get exposed to concepts of what you don't know that you don't know, it is life-changing if and when you execute those concepts and you stay in a place of being open intuitionally as a business. All these strategies I just shared with you spiritually, having space, using intuition, following the feeling, becoming the feeling, following what you love. And you dive into the actual inner knowing of what's right for you in your life, in your business. Go after that, and you become and you follow the feeling. And for me, I heard about that employee stock ownership plan as an exit strategy. And for somebody at my season in my life and where I was in my teen, I knew that it was the thing that I needed to go do. Now, it took me a minute to actually bring it to life, but by October of 2020, y'all, it was done. On October 1st, 2020, our ESOP was executed. And stock was created and shares based on a valuation of the business at that time, which was mid-seven figures. I'm not going to mid-seven-figure valuation. And that's what the share price was based on, when it was executed. Okay. I had it set up by a professional ESOP attorney called Bellevue and Associates out of Maine. And Susan Sherbel, happy to refer her. Susan Sherbel was and is our ESOP attorney. She's wicked smart. And they did also Joe Polish's. So why create the wheel, right? Why go look for a different attorney that might be $10,000 cheaper when I can just use the same attorney that Joe Polish used? So that's another writer downer. It's like, you guys bang your head against the wall for years out of stubbornness. And it kills me. You have the solution right in front of you. Join a mastermind group, be in the room, follow the examples and models of people that you want to be where they are, and implement the hell out of it. Period. The end. And use your intuition in business to guide you. And don't worry and have fear stop you. And if you do those things, I promise you, you'll be sitting in a beautiful 2-bedroom, 2-bath on Magic Sands Beach here in the Big Island or wherever you want to go. So I did the ESOP in October of 2020. And then I knew at some point when I was going to be, 5 or 6 years later, my plan was to, right around the age of 60, which I'll be turning 60 in November of 2026. To business and be fully exited. Well, then what happened? What happened is I met Amir Zogi. And he's like, what are you waiting for? If you have somebody in place that can take the reins, which I did and do, he's like, and she wants it and she gets it and she has the capacity to do the job. That's an EOS GWC. Gets it, wants it, has the capacity. And I was like, check, check, check. She's potentially even stronger as a CEO than I am. It's a big statement. Get in her. So I don't have any fear or worry. Of course, things could happen. But I'm just following my intuition, guys. And so Jennifer Connor, because I was like, you're right. I'm waiting for. And he's like, are you afraid that no one will love you if you leave your company? And I was like, holy F-bomb. Really? Okay. And that no one can run this company but me, and everybody needs Murray, and blah, 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 all that mind trash. And so I made the leap. The next day after he said that on a coaching call, I woke up with certainty I would be leaving on November 1st, 2023. And I did. So I had about 6 months from that time of that decision to implement it. So the first thing I did was share it with I called Jen and I said, hey, I have made a decision to step aside as CEO and just be in the founder role and be a strategic advisor to the team and to you if you become our next CEO. And she goes, 100% yes, I accept. What are you going to pay me? What's the perks? I'm kidding, kind of. And so we talked all that through, and I then got on the phone with the leadership team and I shared it with each of them privately, one-on-one, on our next one-on-one. I was like, hey, I've had a conversation with Jen to do on November 1st is she will effectively become CEO. We have 6 months to prep and plan and share with the team privately and get everybody on board and, create all the structures we need, et cetera, et cetera. Onboard her and everyone to the change. So we got busy doing that. And between April and November, we did all the things. And on November 1st, it was that I had stepped aside as CEO. And so now I'm just in a pure founder role and strategic advisor role. I still own half of Grow Your Center. I don't know if you guys are aware. Grow Your Center is a digital marketing agency that I own with Bruce Spur. I'm diving into that company a little bit more hands-on, just a few hours a week, more hands-on over there as well. So I'm not done working. I'm still doing a little bit, but I'm only really working about 10 or 15, if that. And so I've made a ton of space in my life now for travel and for being able to go sit my butt on the beach if I want, which is what I'm going to go do after this podcast is done, by the way, if you must know. And I'm investing. So I went and yesterday spent time, as I mentioned, on the Hamakua coast, north of Hilo. Invest in an amazing new upcoming boutique hotel. I'm going to talk more about that later because there's a lot to share that is going to be a first ever branded XYZ hotel, but I'm not ready to share that yet. And that's the Hamakua Hotel. We'll share a link to it in the show notes in case you want to go check that out. We are taking bookings now effective June 1st. So I thought I would just throw that out there. It's an incredible coast. And it's not rainy over there. Many people say Hilo is the rainy side, which it is, but this is in a little microclimate about 10 miles north. And it's just in this spot where the view is insane and the property is insane. A pool is being built, an infinity inch pool is being built, and a whole new set of services and amenities are being built right now. It has its own restaurant, or it has its own food and beverage as well. So anyway, so I became an investor in that yesterday, and I'm just looking for new opportunities. And I'm still working on my book, ukulele, and creating new things, new adventures and experiences for myself and others. And I'm still a creator, creating this podcast. So that's what I'm up to. Particularly the ESOP is going great. We are continuing to grow the company's valuation. We get it valued each year upon which the share price is based. That's part of being an ESOP. We have grown the valuation almost double since 2020. So now it's at a valuation of basically right at 8-figure valuation. When you do 100% ESOP, you basically get paid out the value of the company at time of when the ESOP was executed on October 1st, 2020. So at that initial payout is. And I have relinquished all the stock of the company. So all the shares are now being given to employees based on a formula, and Susan Sherbill set that all up. And then when new 3-year, everybody got a 3-year vesting. So it takes 3 years for employees to get vested in their shares. So it is a great retention strategy that a childcare business could benefit. Any business can benefit a higher benefit for your employees when they do exit the company, and something that will keep them with you longer is a retention device, because the longer they stay with you, and they have to stay for at least 3 years to get any shares. So they'll get a nice payout, depending on their role and their compensation level, which is what determines and how many years they're with you. That's what determines when they leave what their payout is. And then they get paid out and the shares go back in the bucket. And that's how an ESOP works. Very, very basic. So there's a lot more to it than that. But the other cool thing about an ESOP, I'll just mention, is that it turns into a tax-free S Corp. If it's assuming that you're an S Corp currently, which is what you want to be, if you do the 100% ESOP and all the shares of the company leave the owner and go to the employees. And the leaders of the company usually get more. They usually get an extra little hit of shares than regular non-leaders. Your company will become 100% tax-free to Uncle Sam as an S Corp. So then the money that you would normally spend in taxes, which would be around $150,000 a year if you're a $3 or $4 million business, for example, that money is now all being saved towards the owner's payout, as well as for future. It's going to be going into a really, really nice savings account for the company. And then future employees and leaders can use that money and to do new cool things. Maybe they want to buy some real estate with that or whatever they want to do. So that's a little bit more about the ESOP. You guys can do that strategy. I highly recommend it, especially if it's a family run, because the family you can structure the ESOP so that the children are the successors of the parent who founded the company, and everybody wins because now the children can get more stock. Strategy, multi-generational for both the owner and their children. And or if the kids aren't in the business and you are in your 50s and you would like to exit your company within 4, 5, or 6 years, that's a perfect or runway of time for you. And so what's cool about my window is that I executed the ESOP when I was 52. And then I exited from my company when I was 50. And I thought I was going to wait until I was 60 or 59. And so I exited my company 3 years earlier than planned. So how was I able to do that? I was able to develop the leadership team and find someone who on the leadership team had that extra skill, that extra desire and drive, and also had been a CEO before of her own company and had the capacity to become CEO and drive the company to its next level. And so that's what you need. You need to identify that diamond in the rough potentially, or somebody, or if it's not there, is you hire from outside. I think it's better to cultivate them from within, because now you know for sure that you've got somebody that reflects your core values and your culture, 100%. Mentored them all the way through the journey. So they've got your company and your own personal DNA of your values imprinted on them, like Jennifer does for me. And she was also a former client. Way through from 2012. I've known her for 11 years, 12 years. So that's what it took. And I want to share those things with you because that's key to the reason why I'm able to sit here in Hawaii for my best life and all of these dreams. I'm going to Australia next to hang out with Amir Zogi and friends for a spiritual retreat north of Sydney, north of Bondi Beach in Hunter Valley, Australia. I'm going there for 10 days at the end of March. And then I'm going to Ecuador in May for a week and a half, flying into Quito. And I'm going to be spending a week and a half with indigenous tribal people, shaman, at the headwaters of the Amazon River and canoe on the Amazon River. Hopefully I don't get eaten by a crocodile. And we're going to huts on little cots and things, not sleeping on the ground. But it's not a trip for everyone. But I'm over the moon excited to spend time with these incredible Indigenous people and just learn. Vacation in Ecuador. And then I'm going to Burning Man for the first time. And these are all experiences that I have from my new mastermind group. Again, back to the power of the mastermind, guys, is then I pivoted to what's a mastermind group of cool stuff globally and creating amazing cosmic experiences and fun and shenanigans globally. And that's a group called Mavericks. And so I joined Mavericks last summer and intentionally am now going on trips with them and going to Burning Man with a few of them, and just excited to be on this journey. So that's my story, guys. I wanted some spiritual practice type stuff. I'm also planning to start hosting some retreats. I'll basically start with a initial / spiritual retreat, sharing a lot of what I've just been sharing. This is just a little taste to take this a lot deeper and have 5, 6, 7, 8 people come and join me in Hawaii. And we'll be staying at the or her sister retreat center and hosting an incredible experience for y'all sometime in the future here on the Big Island. Because I want to do this work with folks one-on-one and really help you manifest whatever you want to manifest in your life. And that's super exciting to me. Think about doing that work. And then, of course, I've got all the business skills, and because we walk our talk. Like everything that you want to do in your childcare business or your life, we have done. I'm just going to say it out there. Like any expansion, overcoming obstacles, creating bolt-on businesses, improving cash flow, understanding your metrics, using EOS, anything I can even imagine myself or my coaches or all of us have done. We walk our talk, we talk our walk, 100%. And so if you want to be in the world's largest and best coaching mastermind group with us as coaches and myself as your coach, you will want to go to fixmyschool.com and learn more and sign up for a strategy session today. And Coach Ben and enrollment advisor Karina, my right-hand gal, are there to help you and to get you set up. Period. The end. Fixmyschool.com. Okay, guys? So why wait? I am proof positive that this is possible for you. And the only thing that's stopping you is you. Let us help you get out of your own way and get off the hot mess express. It is time. Thank you for joining me on this solo episode, my solo adventure in Hawaii. I have loved being with you over these past, I don't know how many minutes. Sometimes I go a little longer than I. And I hope you got some, I know you got some writer downers out of this. And if you were being present, as I've asked you to be, go back and listen to this again. If you were unable to really be present with it because you had distractions or you were driving, sit down with this in your AirPods or your headphones and go sit on a park bench or be by the water or go sit in nature with this. And maybe take a little notepad. And I really want you to dive into what you want your life to be, guys, because when I created this company in 2009, I had a little bit of an inkling of what it could become. And I had these dreams that didn't really feel possible, but I kind of was putting them out there anyway. This life that I have lived has far surpassed anything thought of when I first started my company. Far surpassed. And I credit it all to mastermind groups and coaches and what I have been exposed to, that then I credit myself, that I then went and so it's both. It takes the coach and the mastermind group and your peer group that you're in the room. And then it takes you to make space and time to go freaking implement it to full complete, not half, not 90%. And if you do those two things and those two things only, you will win. And your life will be far exceeding what you ever could have dreamed it would be. And I'm living that right now here in Hawaii. This is my dream life. Sometimes I pinch myself. I actually pinched myself the other day because I was snorkeling in Captain Cook off of an incredible. And then we had the dolphins and the whales right next to the boat. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in the Big Island doing this. So I want you to have that. I want you to pinch yourself and just be like, whatever it is for you, you've always dreamed, it's possible. All right. Take care and God bless. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. I hope you liked this episode of Child Care Rockstar Radio. If you did, please leave a review and share it with someone you know to help spread the word to friends in our industry and on social media. Childcare business success is my passion, and I'm honored to be on this journey with you. As a thank you for listening, I've got a new video training that shows you how to add 6 figures or more of new revenue to your program in the next 60 days by improving your hiring and your enrollment systems. To watch my new video, just go to www.fixmyschool.com. That's fixmyschool.com. Thanks. Take care and God bless.